Yeah, hi guys, good morning. And in today's session, we'll talk about Ansible playbooks. Okay, so we have already seen a setup. How can we set up Ansible and how can we execute the Ansible attack commands, right? So, do you guys have any questions on attack commands?
No.
No, sir.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Able to see my screen?
Yes, Navi.
Yes.
Okay. So, in today's session, we'll talk about playbooks. So, generally, what do you mean by playbook?
The task which we want to execute
Inventory.
are being configured in Playbook.
Yeah, so, Ansible playbook will consist of set of tasks or plays. Okay, so whatever you want to do automation, right? If you want to install anything, if you want to change anything, update anything, then everything we can write in a playbook. Okay, so it can consist either of task or place. So we can, I mean, anything is okay. So what will be the extension of that playbook? So in general, playbooks can be written in YAML language. Format what we try to write the playbooks, right? So that is considered as YAML language. I mean, we should write the playbooks in YAML language. So YAML means, what is the full form of
Yet
YAML?
another memorable language.
Yet another markup language.
Yeah. Okay. So it can be either called as YAML or YML. So anything is fine. Okay. So this language is very human readable. Means YAML is very human readable. Means if you try to read this script, right, then you will easily understand what is going to happen. That is very human readable. Means it will be in the basic English only. So if you read this YAML, then it is very easy for everyone to understand what is happening with the help of these YAMLs. Okay. So in general, what can be the name of the playbook? It can be anything, right? Main.yml or main.yml. So this can be the extension, or I can write as apache.yml. For example, you want to write one playbook for Apache, then you can consider as apache.yml or apache.yml. So this can be the extensions for our playbooks. Okay, understood? So similarly, we used to have our main.tf in our Terraform, right? So in Ansible, we can have our main.yaml or apache.yaml or any other name, but the extension should always be YML or YML. Okay, clear?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So while writing these YAML files, we need to consider the spacings. I mean, indentations are very important. What do you mean by indentations? So basically, for example, let me write one basic playbook. Okay. Install Apache yum Apache 2 and then state equal to latest. Okay, so these spacings, whatever spacings we are trying to provide, that we call as indentations. So we need to always make sure of the spacings, or else what will happen, our YAML file will throw errors. So this part you will understand as we progress. I mean, the more we try to practice on the playbooks, right, then we will understand how much space we need to provide for each blocks. Okay. So apart from this, we do have our Visual Studio, right? So we do have our Visual Studio where we can configure our YAML plugins. Where is my extension? Here we have Ansible. So try to install this plugin. This will help us to easily understand. I mean, it will help us to format the syntax for us. I mean, if there are any errors in the YAML, then it will help us to throw the errors. See, here we have one YAML file, GitLab CA. This is something different, but here if you see this, so this, let me delete this. It will try to automatically pop up for us, similar to our Terraform or Kubernetes. Okay, so you can either use Visual Studio or else we have lot of online editors as well. YAML online editor. So here we have YAML editors. Here, whatever you have written, for example, I have written this. Where is my YAML? Yeah. Let me copy. Okay, here what we can do, you can copy your YAML file and you can paste here. So it will help you to know whether the format what you have written for your YAML is right or not. If there are any mistakes, then it will help you to identify the mistakes. Okay, here you can see incomplete. On 5th line there is a mistake. Okay, so you can use these online editors to check the syntax of your YAML files as well, or else you can use Visual Studio Code. Okay, so now let us go to our servers. So this is my Ansible controller. So let me try to connect to my Ansible controller. Ansible all live I'm ping. Let us see what is happening. It is failing. Why? Because of the user called Ubuntu. We have copied the keys from the user called root, right? So let me do one thing. So sudo su hyphen Ansible all -m ping. So what this add a command will do, this add a command will help us to know the connectivity. I mean whether the end servers are available or not. Yes or no? So our servers are up and running. So we can use our Ansible playbooks or any other commands to execute some task on the worker nodes. Okay. So for now, what I will do is instead of using root user, I want to use Ubuntu user. The reason behind this is because if I'll use root user, right, so we will be not getting lot of errors because of the permissions. If I'll use Ubuntu user, then we might see lot of issues in terms of permissions, and we should check how can we solve that kind of issues. Okay, so I will be using Ubuntu user, so I want SSH passwordless connectivity, so I will use SSH keygen. Keygen has been created, so let me copy. Copy, and then let me go to my worker 01. Similarly, let me connect to my worker 02 as well. I'm trying to copy the SSH keygen in both worker 01 and worker 02. This is my worker 01 and then this is my worker 02. EI authorized underscore keys. So now what we have did, we have exchanged the keygens from Ubuntu user. Okay. So now let me try to connect. Ansible all jumping. Sorry, this is my master, right? Ansible all jumping. Yes. From Ubuntu user, it is also working. Now we got the connectivity. Let me test this again. Okay. So we have our setup, which is using the user called Ubuntu. Now we are good with the connection. So now we got one requirement to write one Ansible playbook, which will help us to install Apache. Okay. The requirement is install Apache on servers using Ansible playbooks. Okay, so what we can do? Now we got one requirement to install Apache on servers with the help of Ansible playbooks. So let me try to develop one playbook. Okay, so let me create one directory called playbooks. In this particular directory, I will be creating one file called apache.yml. Okay, in this file, I will try to write my playbook. So always remember, we have three icons. I mean, initially, the moment we try to start our playbook, right? So it will indicate three icons. So what does these three icons indicate? Our YAML file, whenever we are trying to write the playbooks, right? So we start with three icons. What does these three icons indicate? Why do we need these three icons? Okay, these three icons basically will indicate as start of our playbook. Is this mandatory to use? No, it is not mandatory. So it will try to, I mean, we use three icons initially and three icons at the last, means start of the YAML and end of the YAML playbook. Okay, and this is not mandatory, guys. If you want to use, you can use, or we can ignore this as well. Okay, understood?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So playbook basically it will also consist of different modules again. So let me try to start with three icons and then icon host colon on. So what is icon host? What do you mean by host name? Yeah, inventory group. While working on YAML, what we used to do? We used to write this, right? Ansible all icon ping. So what is this all? This is nothing but our host name. So in playbook, we try to define three icons and then icon host colon all. This all and this all represents same. Means this is nothing but the group name of your inventory. So where our playbook is going, it will check for the default inventory. Okay, it will check for the default inventory. Okay, then we'll try to write our task. What is your task?
Install Apache.
Install Apache.
Okay. So I am specifying as my task as my header, and then always remember after T I mean two spaces name. Okay, install Apache. Why are we using two spaces? Basically, tasks are part of our, I mean, this name and whatever we are trying to install are part of this task. This host is independent, this task is independent. Okay, whatever is considered inside this task, we will try to provide two different, I mean, two spaces, and then we'll try to write our playbook. Okay, so and then we have our module called apt. So how to install? With the help of apt because of Ubuntu server. So we'll use apt module and then name equal to Apache 2. no space. Okay, name equal to Apache 2 is nothing but the package, and here the module what we are trying to use is apt. Okay, so and then we need to write the state. What you want to do, you want to install, right? So I will use latest so that it will install the packages for us. Okay, so this is how we can start constructing our playbook, and this playbook will help us to install Apache in our Ubuntu server. So let me save this. To see this content, let me cat. So here we can find 3 icons and then host name, task. In task we have the first task is install Apache, and the module we are using is apt and state modules. Now I want to run this playbook, but before running I want to check the syntax of this playbook. Every time I cannot copy this and I cannot go to the YAML editors, right? I cannot go here and I cannot check, right? I want to check the syntax from the command line itself. So we have one command called Ansible-playbook, and then the name of playbook, and then syntax check. So what this will do, this will help us to know if there are any errors in the syntax or not. So let me hit enter. See, if you are saying as playbook apache.yaml, I mean nothing is been displayed over here. This is warning related to some deprecations, so ignore this warning. So here we are able to see playbook apache.yaml means our syntax is okay. There are no mistakes in the syntax. For example, let me try to add some mistakes. Let me add colon instead of equal to, let me add colon. Okay, so let us see what will happen. See, error. This task apt has extra parameters, and here we can see the error. So where it is showing name colon install Apache Apache.yaml. So here it is trying to tell us there is some error from our output. But always check for the line next to the error. For example, if it is displaying iPhone name, right? So there might be error in this particular line. Do not look for error in this line. Look for the next line. Always look for the next line. Okay. So if you want to check for the syntax, which command we can use? Want to check the syntax, which command we can use?
Ansible hyphen playbooks.
Playbook Apache. Apache don't have syntax.
The syntax is syntax check. Okay. Ansible playbook. Apache is my playbook name, and then this is the parameter. It will help us to check the format of our playbook. Someone go on mute. Okay, so this is how we can check for the syntax. Now I want to run this playbook, but before running I want to make sure what is the output of this playbook. Means I want to do a dry run. So we have some concept called dry run in Terraform as well, right? So similar concept we do have in Ansible as well. So how to do the dry run? Check. So this is the parameter to check the dry run, or else I want to know what will be the output or what will be the behavior of this playbook when I try to execute on the end servers. So what it will do, see, it is trying to run our playbook. Actually it will not make any changes, but it will only show us that this will be the changes if I'll try to execute this. Okay, so our install Ansible will get executed, and here we can see that on the server number 177 there will not be any changes, and server number 152 there will be changes. Why? Because already in 177 we have installed Apache in our previous session. So because of the idempotent behavior, it will not execute the same command. Already it is running, so it will ignore, right? So -" check will be used to know the status or to know the behavior of our playbook, what kind of impact it is going to provide on the end environment. Clear?
Yes.
Yes, Sabir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So the one is showing that it changed. So it's not changed, right? So it will be the future.
Sorry.
The one is showing change in the yellow form.
Hmm?
So it is basically saying that future it will be changed.
Yes, right. So if I'll execute this playbook, then there will be some changes in this particular server. This is what it is trying to tell.
All right.
Okay. So now let me try to execute my playbook. So how to run my playbook? Ansible -playbook and then the playbook name. So this is the command to run our playbook. Hit enter. See, here we are able to see some issues. Okay. So first thing is it is trying to gathering the facts. So how it is trying to gathering the facts? Which module can be used to gather the facts? Setup module, right? So once the facts are been gathered, then it is trying to, this is my task, actual task what I have written. Then it is trying to install. So when it is trying to install, here we can see there is some error. If you read this message, okay, here we can see install Apache failed, could not open log file for this particular location, permission denied, unable to acquire this particular lock, okay, permission denied. And here we can see RU root. Can you see this? RU root means this Ubuntu user, basically if I want to install Apache in my Ubuntu server, which command do we use? Sudo m install Apache, sudo apt install Apache 2, right? So this is what we try to use. Here in this playbook, I haven't specified anything called sudo. So because of user permissions, it is not allowing me to install my playbook or execute my playbook or install my packages. Even if I log in, which server 152, right? Sorry, 152 server number 152, yeah, worker 0. See, apt install Apache 2. So see, same error. Are you root? Why? Because of permissions, because of privileges, right? So what we generally do in order to resolve this issue, we try to add sudo. But in our playbook, do we have anything called sudo?
No.
Right. So we don't have anything related to sudo, right? So what I will do is vi apache.yaml, and in this particular playbook, I will try to add the permissions. Means we have one module called become module. Become colon yes means this particular module will help us to add some extra privileges to the users. Means sudo. Understood? So become module will help us to add some extra privileges. Similarly, we do have different modules, become underscore user colon and then username. For example, root. We can also add this. So what will happen? This playbook will try to execute based upon the root user. It will try to execute as root user. So this is how we can add different privileges to our playbook. So for now, I'm using become colon yes. So this will help me to add some extra privileges to my playbook. So let me execute this. Okay, Ansible -playbook and then apache.ml. Let me hit enter and see what is happening. This time, hopefully this will try to install Apache 2 in my servers. Right? Changed. If I'll go to the server and if I see the status, sudo systemctl status Apache 2. See, this is running. This is my worker 02. So what happened now? We were able to successfully install Apache with the help of one playbook. Understood?
Yes.
Yes. And Sabir bhai, if you want to install the same package in Linux server as well with the same playbook, can we do that?
For Linux, what will be the modules?
Yeah, yum, we have to mention in
So
that.
we need to write a different playbook for Linux where we are going to specify the module as yum.
Okay.
Okay, similar playbook, the structure will be same. Okay, structure will be same. Instead of apt, I will be using yum as my package, and instead of Apache 2, I will be using httpd.
Okay, and the host we have to mention the group name over there in
Yeah,
all.
group, which group you want to call, you can specify the group name.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Sabir bhai, like why it has been started as well? Like because we have not given any parameter for starting that. We
Which
have
one?
not given any command. To start the Apache.
See, basically, this is because of the module what we are trying to use.
Latest have permission.
Yeah. So if suppose if you are trying to use in Linux, I don't think so. The behavior will be same. It will not try to start. Okay.
Got it, sir.
So now what we have did, I mean, we have two servers and we were able to successfully execute our playbook, right? So remember one thing, in interviews, 99% of the time they will ask you to write a sample playbook which will help you to install Apache, Nginx or Tomcat. This will be the basic question what we can expect from their end. So while writing in interviews, do not worry about the spaces and all because they are not going to execute that script, right? So you can just simply start your playbook. For example, iPhone host, or and then you can try start writing task and then iPhone name and specify. So do not worry about the spaces, how the spaces should be given or not. Okay, do not worry about the syntax of this playbook. Just try to structure the playbook or draw the skeleton of the playbook. So what are the modules are there, how it is going to work. So that is okay in the interviews. Do not worry about the spaces and all. Even for Terraform, if you are not aware of any modules, for example, someone asks you to create one Terraform template to provision AWS ECR. Okay, so you are not aware of that module, right? So in that case, try to use, for example, resource AWS. What he said, ECR, right? So try to add AWS as front end and then underscore ECR, and then write any name, test ECR, and then try to add some parameters. In general, what we use for the ECR repository name, okay, or else ECR underscore repo underscore name. So try to add such kind of syntaxes. If they'll ask whether the syntax is right, then you can tell that you are not aware of that syntax, but this is how we can structure our main.tf file. Okay, so do not worry about the syntaxes always. If you can remember, then it is well and good. If not, then try to add any random content over there. Okay. So now what we have did, we have installed. So our second requirement is to deploy one index.html file. Okay, our second requirement is to deploy one sample index.html file. Okay, so what I will do, I will try to add one more task to my playbook. Apache.yaml. For name, and then copy index.html. So this is the name of my task, and then module which can be used to copy is copy module. Copy and then source, from which particular location we have our index.html. So where is our index.html?
var
Created.
For
What is the
www.html.
source, not the destination? So from where it should copy the index.html. Source for now I'm trying to add as index.html only, and then destination should be where www.html. Okay, so let me save this playbook. Let me try to cat. Okay, here we are specifying that copy index.html from source this file name and destination should be this location. So now let me try to execute my playbook. But before executing, what we can do, we can check for the syntax. F1 syntax F1 check. This will be asked in interviews, guys. How can we check the syntax? How can we check the dry run? Okay. So our playbook looks good. So let me try to execute my playbook and see what will happen. Or else let me use dry run and see what will happen. Whether it will be able to copy or not. Copy.index.html. So it is unable to copy. Why?
That file is not available.
Yeah, here always try to read the message. Could not find or access index.html. Means there is no such file called index.html. So what should it copy? Right? So let me try to create one file index.html in the same location where my playbook is available. And here hello world, copied from Ansible controller. So this is the content of my file. Okay. Now let me try to check my YAML. Index.name is same, right? Yeah, source equal to index.html means from which location. So I have kept this in the same location where I am trying to execute my Ansible command. So it will come to this playbooks directory and check for index.html. If suppose you have in OPT, then you should pass the path /opt/index.html. So wherever your index.html is available, try to pass that path. And where it should copy, it should copy onto the worker nodes in /var/www/html. Okay, so let me use try run and check what is happening. See, this will be successfully copied if I'll try to execute my playbook. So now let me actually apply the changes. This too has been changed. There is no impact on installation because already we have installed, right? So it will not, the status will not get changed. The only status is copy index.html. So now if I'll try to access my server, public IP, and see what happened. See hello world copied from Ansible controller. So this is the deployment file what we have copied with the help of our playbook. Understood?
Yes.
Yes, Sabir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So then we have one more task again, that whenever we try to deploy anything, right? So I want to restart my service. Okay, so here what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to tell my Ansible that once the deployment is done, try to restart my service. So I want to add one more task now. So let us again go to my playbook, vi apache.yaml. That's our name. This time what can be the name? Restart Apache 2. Okay, so what should be the module? The module should be service module. Okay, module should be service, and then name of the service should be Apache 2, and the state equal to restarted. Okay, so I'm trying to add one more task which will try to restart my Apache 2.
Sabir bhai, this name restart Apache 2, is that mandatory or is that just for our identification?
Which one?
Name.
No, that is mandatory, because which service should be restarted? What should be happen? So here I am telling that the name of the service is Apache 2 and the state should be restarted.
No,
Means try
above
to
that one.
restart.
Above that one.
This is only for our identification. I mean, end user will understand what is happening.
Got it. Got it.
If you will not provide anything, then no one can understand what you are trying to do. Okay.
Sir, instead of copy, can we like put as deploy index.html? But
No.
is
Do you have deploy module?
oh, so we have to check for the modules
Yeah.
then.
Yeah. So I will come to the modules. I have to check the modules which are available or not. Okay. So what I am trying to do now, I am trying to use service module. I am trying to start my service. Save this playbook. Cat apache.yaml. So now how many tasks do we have? We have 3 tasks. First is installation, second is copying, third is restarting. Okay. So before restarting, let me show you something. So this is my worker 02, right? Here, focus on this 2526, whether our service is getting restarted or not, whether this is executing. What will happen if my service has been restarted? Then the process ID will get changed, right? Yes or no? If my service has been restarted successfully, then process ID will get changed.
Yes.
So now I want to test this. So let me try to run my playbook. I will not be using any syntax or check -check dry run. So I am directly trying to execute my playbook, and let us see what is happening. So copying. See, no changes here. Only changes has been happened on the restart task. Okay. So now let me see this. See, the process ID earlier it was 2526. Now the process ID is 3580 and it has been started 10 seconds ago. So what happened? Our task has been successfully executed. But here the problem is this should only restart when we have deployed any new application, or else it should not deploy. Means there was no change in the deployment and there is no use of restarting our service, right? Got my point? Whenever there is a new deployment, then only it should get changed, or else it should not deploy. Sorry, it should not restart my service. But here what is happening? Even if I'll try to run my playbook again, it will try to restart that service. Every time this will try to restart my service. I don't want this behavior. I want my restart, I mean the service should be restarted only if there is any changes in the deployment, or else it should not deploy. Got it?
yes, sir.
So for that, what we should do? So we have something called notifiers and handlers. Means, for example, here we have a kind of dependency. Means task 3 should be executed only if task 2 has been changed, or else it should not do anything. Okay, so in that case we have something called notify comma handlers. This is very important, guys. This will be asked in interviews. Notify and handler. So these are two different modules. So what this module will do? This module will help us to create dependency. Okay. So this module will help us to create dependency. So how can we use this module? So let us check. So after task 2, after task 2, there is some dependency, right? So I will write notify. Okay. And then the name of this notifier, for example, restart Apache 2. Okay. So I'm telling my task 2 that once you made any changes, then notify to this particular handler. I mean to this particular name. So and then what I will do? instead of name, I'm trying to use handlers. Sorry, instead of this one, handlers. Name equal to this Apache 2, and then the service is this, and then state equal to restarted. So here I have used two different modules. One is to notify and one is to handle. Means if we have any dependencies, then we should use these two modules. So notify module, what it will do? It will notify to the name of handler called restart Apache 2. So once this is notified, then this request will come to handler. So what handler will do? Handler will check for the name. Okay, restart Apache 2. So here we have something called restart Apache 2. Then it will try to execute this particular task. For example, if you have multiple handlers, for example, Apache 2. Okay, I'm trying to use some random module. Name equal to Apache 2, state equal to 10. I'm not sure about the syntax, okay, but I'm still trying to use something. Okay, so for example, here we have multiple handlers. After second task, so what it will do? This handler will check for this particular name. So here we have this name. So it will try to restart this service. Understood how this is working?
Yes.
Sir, this
So
is
note
not possible not to remember all these modules. For restarting, we have to go with service. For deploying, we have to go with copy. Then
these are very basic modules in Ansible. What we
because
are
for
trying to
Linux it
use.
is different.
Which sorry for?
For Linux, if you are using Ubuntu, this is okay. But
No,
if
no,
you
no,
are
no.
going,
See, either for Ubuntu or Linux, both are same modules. Only change will be in terms of this package. Instead of apt, it will be yum package.
so
That's
we
the
have to
only
remember
change.
all these things.
Yes, service module will work, handlers will work, notifier will work, copy will work, become will work, host will work. Everything will be same. The only change will be in terms of this line. Apart from that, almost everything will work.
Saber, can't I just go with the shell module and use my Linux
We can
command?
use shell module as well.
Okay, like,
We do have shell module and we can use shell module as well.
okay, got
Okay.
it.
So now what we have tried to specify that after if there is any change in the task 2, then only this particular task should get executed. So whatever is dependent, we are trying to manage that in the handlers. And the condition what we are checking is the name of the notify and the handler should be always same, or else it will not get triggered. Clear?
Got it.
Yes.
Okay. So now let me try to save this. Let me try to check Ansible playbook, Apache, and then check. So let me run one try run and see what will happen. Automate field host. Did we made any changes in host? I don't think so. I have made any changes. Okay, let me try to run this and see. Okay, Ansible playbook sorry Apache.yaml. So let me try to execute this and see what is happening. So it is trying to install, already installed.
Saber, I think the file is already there. So maybe that may be the issue.
Oh, no, no. Okay, let me try to delete this file manually. Let's see. Add www.html. I'm trying to delete this file manually, and let us see what will happen. Here we can see there is some issue with the handler itself. Restart Apache 2 was not found in either the main handlers list nor in the listening handlers list. Restart Apache 2.
Maybe spacing for handlers.
Now, if there was any issue, then it might be throwing this one. I mean, syntax error. So let me check the syntax first. Yeah, there is some error in syntax. Okay. Okay, let me do one thing. There is some syntax error. Let us see what my ChatGPT is telling. As for this, cd etc ansible. Let me check my host file. All okay. And LRS handlers notify. Let me try this. Or let us try to use debugging mode so that we can understand what is happening. Playbook etc modules. Let me delete this handle section and let us check syntax first. There is some issues with handlers only. Without handlers, there is no syntax error. Okay, let me try to modify this again.
Do we have to provide the host again for the handlers?
Do we have to?
New host for the handlers.
No, not required.
We need to start first.
Do we
Then
need
we start.
name to notify? Like we are giving the name to others.
I didn't understood what you said.
Do we need to give the name to notify as well? Like
Yeah. We need to provide the name which should notify to which handler. If you have multiple handlers, then we can start with this list. So let me test this playbook now. Handler section, there is some error. Here you can see handlers, right? So there might be error in the next line. Let me try to copy this, use my editor and see. Okay, let me copy this syntax. Okay, there is some issue with syntax only. Sorry.
No hyphen for handlers.
Yeah. Okay, so I have copied the syntax. So let me check this. Yeah, now this is working. There are some syntax issues with handlers only. Okay, so now what we can do? Let me execute this Ansible playbook and then playbook name. Let us see what is happening, whether our handlers are getting executed or not. Copy. See here, if you see, task 1 is install Apache, task 2 is copy index. There is no task 3. Why this is not executed? Even if you see this status, okay, the process head is still same and it has been executed 16 minutes ago. Okay, so our handlers is not working yet. Why?
We had given a condition that if it is going to be
If
in
there
the
is any
task 3,
change in this
any change in
task
the next dot,
2,
yeah.
yeah, so if the status of this task 2 is changed, then only this should execute, or else this should not execute our handlers. So what we will do, we'll try to make some changes in the index.html. I'm just adding the content as handlers. Now let me execute my playbook and see what will happen. See, now this status has been changed, and once the status has been changed, then handler is running. If there is no change in the status, then handlers will not execute. So this is how it will execute our dependent task. Clear?
Yes.
Yes, Sabir.
So notifiers and handlers are very important. Try to remember them.
Sir, previously there is an error with syntax, no, in handlers?
Yes, because of this hyphen. We have added hyphen near handlers, and as per documentation, there should be no handlers.
But when we tried to check the syntax, but it hasn't thrown anything, no, like
It was
in
so
that editor, online editor.
no, it was specifying as the host name. I mean, it was I have added handlers over here. Okay, hyphen. Then it was asking for the host name.
Okay.
It was throwing error, but might not be relevant or accurate. But we need to check for everything. I mean, not all the time it will throw you the exact or accurate error. You should check your syntax. Even our YAML editor, this was not helping us to show the error, right? Even this was not, yeah. Why? Because 100% this will not work. Even this is a program. So this might work or this might not work. Okay. So this is how we can create a playbook and we can add different tasks. Now we have one more module. This is clear, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, Sabir.
Yes.
Yeah. So we have two more modules which are very important. We have debug module and comma we have register module. Register and debug module. Okay. So why do we use these modules? The output of task. So register module will help us to capture the output of your specific task. For example, you want to capture the output of your Apache, whether this has been installed or not, or the status whether it has been copied or not. Then in this case, you can use register module. Okay. Then we have debug module to display the output. Whatever you have captured in the register, if you want to see that, then it will help you to, this module will help us to display the output on the screen. Okay, so these are two different modules which are very important. So now what I will do is I will just use the same playbook. Add debug and register module. So let us see what it will show. Okay, let me copy this syntax. First, let us see the syntax over here. Okay, so here we have the first task, that is install Apache, and we are trying to register the result. I mean, whatever result it is trying to display, we are trying to capture that with the help of register module. So what it will do, it will register the status of our installation. So once this is done, then we are using, I mean, we are creating one more task which will help us to display the output or print the output which has been captured with this particular register module. Okay, so let me copy this. And let me try to run the playbook now and see what will happen. See here, if you see this, first install Apache has been done, and then it is trying to display the status whether this has been updated or installed or not. Okay, so this is how we can capture the outputs of our task. This will be helpful for us. For example, you are trying to provision one EC2 and then you want to capture the IP of that EC2. Then these modules will help us to capture such cases. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Saber, what's the
Yes, sir.
cache related time? How do you figure out the time?
Which time? See,
Cache
basically there will be a
update.
lot of syntaxes which are going to run in the boot up. When we try to update something, there will be a lot of binaries which are going to print. So we cannot decode everything, right?
Right.
Saber, debug is also works same in the Terraform.
No. Terraform debug is different.
Okay.
See, if I mean, if we have here, we are calling all these become notifiers, debug, copy as modules, right? So is these modules and Terraform modules are same?
No.
Right? The modules in Terraform are completely different, and Apache is completely sorry, engine what we call our Ansible is completely different. So there is no dependency. There might
Got
be similar terminologies which might be same, and the behavior how it is working will be same, but not all the modules will be same. Okay.
Okay.
Guys, any questions on this?
No.
So try to, I will be sharing some set of tasks, try to create some playbooks, try to avoid chat GPT. Okay, do not use chat GPT for now. Try to avoid chat GPT and try to search for the modules. So how can we search for the modules? Always go for the Ansible registry. Okay, here we have the Ansible documentation. If you go here, from this you can search. For example, which module? We have one module called filing. Or else, let me do one thing. Ansible filing module. Okay, so you can find this one, or else you can find one more link. So always check for this. Here, what it will do is, if you see this documentation, if you scroll down, here you can find some basic playbooks. I mean, if you want to use this file module, right? So this is how you can add different parameters. So try to read this. If you want to copy something, okay, if you want to add any loops, so try to use these use cases. Based upon these use cases, you can understand which is suitable for our requirement. Okay, and then similarly we have, for example, in copy module only we have lot of variations. So let me check copy. Okay, I will open this. See, this is one syntax. So what it is doing, it is trying to copy the file from the source and destination. It is trying to add owner name, group name, as well as permissions as well. So we can add these different parameters as well. In our case, we haven't added any parameters, but if you want to add, then yeah, you can also add these parameters. So always go for the official documentation and check the behavior of the module. What are the different parameters we can add? What are the different syntaxes which are possible? Based upon that, you can design your playbook. Okay.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Saber.
This might look quite complex, but as we progress, right, I mean, the more you try to practice, you will get to know a lot of modules. And in interviews, they will be asking you to write some playbook related to Apache or Nginx. They'll ask you to write, they'll ask you to tell some modules. I mean, what are the different modules you have used? So in this case, you can tell us you have used M module, APT module, service module, copy module, and handlers, notifiers, become, service, setup module, shell module. So these are the different modules what we need to tell. Okay. Chalo guys, let me stop this recording.